Hey there everybody, this is Ben. Welcome to the Soar Skater Studio. Today I've got a session for you that I really enjoy doing as a morning wake-up routine. I find it to be a great way to start the day. And when I do this session, I usually do each posture for 3 to 4 breaths in length. And on each of those breaths, I maybe count for 3 or 4 seconds. So it's like inhaling for 1, 2, 3, exhaling for 1, 2, 3. That's the pace I usually go at, so the whole thing usually takes me 10 to 15 minutes. You may be able to do it shorter or a little longer. This video will be longer because I'm explaining everything. So if you like the pacing in this video, you can keep coming back to this video, watching it, following along. But if you would prefer to just learn the postures, get familiar with them, and then do it at your own pace, you could probably do it a little bit quicker, and it would be a nice quick morning routine. So it's intended to lengthen the spine, open up the hips, and just get the back feeling good and get the legs working a little bit and the core working as well. So to start off, I just want you to stand there and hang out. Don't do anything yet. Don't try to adjust your posture. Don't try to stand in a way that you think is good or healthy. Just notice where you're already at when you stand in a resting position. Like I said, just hanging out. In particular, call attention to your points of contact with the ground. That's going to tell you a lot about what your body is doing. So, you know, where is your point of the contact with the ground right now? It's your feet if you're standing up. Now, pay specific attention to how much weight is in each foot and where that weight is. So weight may be distributed relatively evenly throughout the feet, or you may be more heavily leaning on one foot than the other, leaning to one side or the other. You may naturally put more weight in your toes, maybe your heels. There could be more weight on the pinky toe side of a foot or the big toe side. It's going to be different for everyone. You also may notice that you turn one foot out to the side a little more. So for me, when I'm not paying attention to myself, typically I end up pointing the left foot more straight and the right foot kind of out and diagonal a little bit. It's really a slight bias, but it is a bias, and so I might notice that in myself. I notice how that arrangement with the point of contact on the ground kind of reverberates up through the rest of my body. So if my feet are arranged a certain way, that means my knees will be arranged in a certain way, and then my hips will be, and so on. So call attention to your own body. And let's maybe just take 3 or 4 slow to medium length breaths and notice how we feel without doing anything in particular yet. Your posture may shift slightly as you inhale and exhale. That should be normal, so just follow how it shifts. Follow what your body does on the inhale and then on the exhale. And when you're ready, we're going to move into what is called mountain pose in the yoga world. So now put your feet facing forward, so both sets of toes face forward in front of you. Have the feet about hip width distance apart, about shoulder width distance apart, so it all kind of lines up. And I want you to start rooting into the ground through your feet. So press your toes into the ground, press the heels into the ground, press the midfoot into the ground. Use the strength of your legs to root into the ground through your feet, feeling your thighs turn on, feeling your hips and your glutes turn on. I want you to squeeze the thighs together a little bit. Imagine that you maybe have a block, or if you do, maybe you don't have a yoga block, but I have like this little sitting cushion. You could squeeze that block in between your thighs and that'll help you turn the legs on. So I'm holding it there. I'm going to rotate my thighs internally just a little bit. So that would kind of squeeze this block backward, but not too much, just a little bit. Feeling my hips turn on, keeping strong through the glutes. Now keep strong in the core and use your core to lift your spine. Feel the core activate to elongate the spine, maybe a medium activation, so a 4 or 5 on a scale out of 10 with how much work your core is doing. Turn the palms outwards, relax the shoulders back and down, and now press the top of your head up toward the ceiling using the strength of your neck. So use the neck to push the top of the head toward the ceiling. Feel your chin tuck slightly toward the throat, still staying strong through the legs, rooting through the feet. Strong core. As you breathe in, that core lifts the ribs, lifts the chest up. As you breathe out, the core helps to root down. You might feel your glutes push in. It can be helpful to push on purpose just a little bit. Use the glutes to push the whole pelvic bowl forward, kind of in this direction. And hold all aspects of that posture for 3 breaths, breathing evenly. It's a lot to do at once, so just do a light engagement through the whole body. Nothing in particular is working too hard, but everything is working, and it adds up to a good effort. Keeping the breath even. And then we can move on. So I'm going to put that block away, but I am going to try to keep the same kind of engagement going through my legs for the next posture. So I'm rooting down with my legs. I keep the core stabilizing the mid-body, so the core works to stabilize the mid-body. And now I want you to reach your hands up, look up diagonally towards the roof. You're not looking all the way up, but look up diagonally, and then open the chest and bend just the upper back. And this is a standing back bend. So we're trying to breathe evenly through the standing back bend. The legs still root strong down. The lower back and the mid back do not bend because we need the core to keep that whole part of the body stable. And we just want to bend the upper back as we open the chest. You may, if you've ever been to a yoga class or maybe if a fitness class uses this move, see the instructor go way back in this posture. And that might be appropriate for someone who's been doing it for a very long time. But for us, for the average sore skateboarder, we're just focused on bending the upper back a little bit while keeping the mid-body strong and centered. Many people, in their effort to do a good, deep opening back bend, will start to bend the mid and lower back, and that's going to be unhealthy because it's going to take the work out of your core and it's going to make you start using the tops of your thighs. Like if you are almost doing a backwards cartwheel or something, that's not healthy. You don't want to hold that position. You want to hold a strong core, just the upper back bending a little bit. Let's do 1 or 2 more even breaths looking up at the ceiling, or maybe where the wall meets the ceiling. Lengthening the neck, just like in the last posture. The chest is open, shoulders reach up strong. And then breathe out, bring the hands back down. Next, we're going to move into a standing side stretch. So bring the toes together. The heels are maybe just 1 inch or so apart. We want to root down with both feet just the same. Lift the arms up. I like to kind of go in a diagonal V shape, and I like to pretend I'm pulling apart an elastic band with my hands. Maybe if you do have a workout band, you could actually do it. Some people might like to put the hands together, maybe directly above. Do whatever you like to do, but I like to reach up, pretend I'm pulling an elastic band together. It gives me a little bit of a shoulder workout during this posture. Breathe in here, and then when you breathe out, move the hips to the left and lean the body to the right. But don't collapse to the right. You want to stay strong with the core. So it's less leaning like I lean on the wall. I'm not, giving my weight up. I'm using the core to turn the body this way. So even the right side here, you're leaning right, but the right side stays lengthened. It stays strong. It doesn't crunch in. And the left side really lengthens and you get a good stretch there. Pushing the left hip outwards, but trying to keep the hips and the core facing forward, keeping everything kind of lined up. We'll go for maybe 3 or 4 breaths here, feeling that stretch in the side body, rooting down in the core, staying strong through the legs and the feet. As you breathe in, elongate the spine and get taller. As you breathe out, move a little deeper into the pose and strengthen the core. Breathing in, get taller. Lengthening. Breathing out, getting stronger, moving a little more to the side. One more breath. Come back to the middle. I'm going to shake my arms out a little bit because it's definitely a workout for my shoulders doing that arm position. I'm pulling the shoulders down and back, but I'm also stretching them out at the top, stretching my biceps out. So I'm putting a lot of effort into the arm aspect of this. Bringing my arms up again. Breathing in, lengthening. Breathing out, moving the hips right, turning the body to the left, using the strength of the abs. Breathing in, elongating the spine. Breathing out, squeezing the abs, moving more to the left, deepening the lean. Let's do 2 more breaths. I'm going to count out about 5 seconds for each inhale and exhale because we were on the other side for a little longer maybe, so I'll make these breaths longer, stay on this side more, make sure I get an even stretch on each side. Breathing in to lengthen the spine, breathing out to move deeper, strengthening the core, the legs, my feet's connection to the ground. I'm going to inhale and come to the middle and put the arms back down. Okay, so now we're going to move into the last more active posture, the last new posture for this video, which is called a Warrior One in yoga. So I'm going to have my right foot forward. Warrior One is kind of a lunge variation. My left foot is in the back. I'm not going to, usually when I do this as part of my morning routine, I don't push myself in the lunge too much. I don't go for a super wide lunge. If you want to push yourself a lot, you can. I like to keep my feet a little closer together so that way I can really focus on strengthening the front leg, stretching out the back hip. You'll see what I mean in a second. It just makes it easier for me to accomplish those when my feet aren't too far apart. So right foot is in front, right toes face forward, left foot is in back, left toes face like diagonal and forward. So these toes are at a 45-degree angle to the front foot. You want to try to line up the back of your right heel with the middle of the back foot. So that's kind of the lineup. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to obsess over that, but it's where you want it to be at. The right leg bends, and you root down into the ground through that front right foot using the strength of your hip and your glutes. So using your hip and your glutes, and even using the thigh, root down into the foot here. With the back leg, a lot of times in this posture, there's a tendency for the pinky toe side of the back leg to come above the ground. So a lot of yoga classes, a lot of fitness instructors will advise you to make sure to press that pinky toe side of the foot into the ground. And that is helpful if you're doing this kind of thing. But I'm rooted in this foot too, really rooting strong down through the right foot. Now I want you to put both your hands on your hips and squeeze the legs together as you begin to bring the left hip forward and the right hip back. So ideally, the hips both face forward and the hips are kind of squared up in the same direction as your front foot's toes. If you don't get it all the way there, that's okay, but you do want to move it in that direction while squeezing the front foot back, squeezing the right leg forward. Maybe go at a 5 out of 10 intensity, not too intense, but enough so that you feel a good stretch through the left hip, maybe even groin and upper thigh area. So we're moving the hips to even out, squeezing the legs together. I'm definitely feeling a stretch in my left side here. I'm feeling some fatigue in my right leg because I've been pushing down into the ground for a while, but that's good. It's a good thing to strengthen that leg. And when you're here for the last few breaths, reach your arms up to the sky. Again, you can go straight up, maybe a V shape. This one's a good one. I like this too. So I'm gonna go like this for now. But as you reach your arms up somehow, use the core now to lift the chest, lift the rib cage, and get tall. So similarly to the last posture, breathe in to get tall, breathe out to root down, strengthen the legs, strengthen the core. Breathe in, get tall. Breathe out, strengthen the legs, strengthen the core. Kind of moving my arms with this too. You don't have to, but I like to. Breathing in, getting taller with the spine. Breathing out, pressing those feet into the ground, squeezing the legs together, squeezing the core. The hips are lining up even with each other. And then we'll end that side and move on to the next side. So on the next side, we'll have the left foot in front, right foot in back, left toes face forward, right toes diagonal, 45-degree angle, lining up my left heel with the midpoint of my right foot. And now with the left glute and the left hip, I start to root down through this leg, using the strength of the thigh as well. Root down through the left foot, keeping the pinky toe side of my right foot firmly planted as well. Really, you want to plant the whole right foot, but most people just pick that pinky toe side up more, so it's good to pay extra attention. Now I put my hands on my hips. Gonna breathe in and lift my chest up. Breathe out, squeeze the legs together, start to even the hips out. Breathe in, get a little taller. Breathe out, squeeze the legs together, squeeze the core, bringing the left leg backward, left hip backward, and the right hip forward. Now I'm really feeling that good stretch in my right hip, right groin area. Like I said, we want medium intensity. I don't want you to go so hard that you're gonna pop something, but go hard enough so you feel that stretch on the back foot side and the hip. And so you feel that strain in the front foot. You really want to press down through that front foot, feel that strengthening. Gonna bring my arms up, breathing in to lengthen the spine, breathing out to get strong in the core, squeezing the legs together, pulling the right hip forward and the left hip backward. 2 more breaths. And on the next in-breath, come up. You can exhale and put the arms down. Move into one final mountain pose now. So feet, again, about hip width distance, about shoulder width distance apart. Pressing those toes, pressing those heels, pressing the whole foot into the ground. Squeezing the thighs together, engaging the hips and the glutes to tip the pelvic bowl forward just a little bit, like so. Strong lower body, strong core. Gonna breathe in, use that core to lift the rib cage, lift the chest. Breathe out, root down through the core, through the legs and the feet. Turning my palms to face outward, shoulders relax, down and back. Breathing in, feeling my neck elongate, feeling the head push up towards the ceiling. Breathing out, tucking the chin just slightly towards the chest. Feeling my core, my hips, my glutes, my legs all root down through the floor. Let's get just a couple more breaths here. Breathing in to get taller, breathing out to get stronger. Light engagement through the whole body in a mountain pose. Light, even engagement, even breathing. And then let it go and just pace around the room for a second. So kind of get out of the yoga type mindset. We did mainly yoga moves, mainly yoga postures there for this particular session. And getting out of that mindful mindset, just kind of reset your body. I'm going to shake my arms out, shake my legs out a little bit. And when you're ready, just hang out like you did before. Don't do anything special. Don't, purposefully improve your posture. Don't purposefully strengthen or relax anything. And just see how your body feels now. What feels different as compared to what you felt like before you started this. maybe your feet contact the floor in a bit of a different way. Right now, I can feel that my hips are much more relaxed. So after working out the hips a little bit, we certainly strengthened the hips during parts of that session, but we also stretched them as well. So through both of those things, I can now feel my hips looser, a little more relaxed than they were before, and that's always nice. I do feel more rooted, I feel more grounded, like I'm more willing to relax into my feet and let them take on some of the weight of my body. But all these things could feel different for you because you've got a different body and different things are happening. But the point is just call attention to how that session changed the way your body feels, because that will teach you not only about your own body and the habits you have. As you do this over and over, you kind of do a test, retest, see how you feel at the beginning, see how you feel at the end. That teaches you about your body individually, but you'll also learn more about the sessions themselves, the exercises themselves, because you'll learn what kind of effects they have on your body when you take the time to pay attention like this. So maybe just do that for a couple more minutes, but I'm going to sign off here because that's the end of the video. Hope you benefited from it, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Just pay attention to your body now, see how it feels, and have a wonderful rest of your day.